But the phones are really important because that's incoming business. So, you know, every time you miss a phone call, you possibly have missed a service, or you've, you know, like something else. So, yeah, it just gets really tricky.
Hi there, I'm Charly, your online business manager. My goal is to assist small to medium business owners build their businesses with a focus on using the internet and online technologies in an appropriate and cost-effective manner. People hire me to take the stress out of managing their businesses and allow themselves to focus on what they do best. Now, today I have Gail Budden, and you have all heard me say from time to time in various videos, everyone needs a Gail. This is my Gail. This is the lady that keeps me sane when we're trying to get things done. This is the lady who helps me out. And on top of that, she also runs her own VA business. And I thought it would be really great for us to sort of do a bit of a catch up, have a conversation like we would normally have in like a Monday morning or a Friday afternoon or sometime during the week when we just need to catch up and shoot the breeze. And also talk about the things that we're seeing within our industry, within the VA industry, and what's going on. How does that sound to you, Gail?
Sounds good. And thank you for those lovely words, Charly. They mean the world.
Oh, you're most welcome, honestly, and you make my life so good. So there you go. We are a mutual admiration society. So Gail, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourselves? Because I've said everyone needs a Gail, but let's hear it from your mouth. Tell us about yourself.
Gail Budden, Admin Solutions. I run a VA, my VA business. It started off just as me, and it's grown to include my daughter, and we are growing quite quickly, actually, a bit scary quickly. We have several businesses that we support along with Charly, and I always see my role as to help other businesses grow. So to do the things that I'm good at, which is phones and taking messages and booking people in and kind of troubleshooting that admin stuff to let the business people do what they're better at doing than that. So, but I always like to think that I'm a bit of a people pleaser, and I like to please people while they get their businesses up and running and making lots of money.
That's actually a really good description of what you do. So when we're talking about virtual assistants, there's like a whole gamut of virtual assistants, right? And you can have the ones that will do your email checking, and they'll just go through, we'll be so careful using that word just, don't we? Well, yeah, they just go through and I did it again, and check email boxes and make sure emails are addressed or highlighted and brought to someone's attention. There's ones that will go and do content on websites. There's ones that will do the financial side of things. And then you have a level which is like an EA, an executive assistant. And that's your right-hand woman or your right-hand man, basically. It's the person that I get something into my inbox and I go, hey, Gail, can you look at this? Tell me what you think needs doing. Tell me what you think I need to actually address on it, if there's anything I need to address on it, or if there's something in the procedures or the information that we've already put together that you can send back a response for to get this moving and keep it moving. Because a lot of the questions we get are simple questions that, well, they're simple for us because we answer them every day, but they're not simple for the person asking them. And yeah, you could wait on me. You could wait a couple of hours on me while I'm actually working on problems or coaching with someone or recording or doing things, or I can empower my team to help me do what I do best. So there you go. I help people do what they do best, and my team help me do what I do best. So yeah, we've both had a really interesting start to 2024. We both have some big goals for our business overall. I'm going to say that I've got my vision for my business, but that vision changes regularly as I start to head towards my goals and I start to make those goals and go, actually, that's not quite where I want it to be, and I need to chip it a little and move it a little. I think you've had a very similar experience too, haven't you?
Yeah. So I was planning to grow my business quite well and get a little bit bigger, but I've also found it's really tricky to find people that want to come in and help. And I'm pretty much at capacity at the moment. So it's hard to grow and take on new people without taking on new contractors. And I've just found that to be very hard.
So there's a couple of reasons why you found it hard. I know I found it hard, and I'd like to sort of delve into it. And this isn't anything. There's no reflection on anyone here. There's no judgment being made. It is just an observation we're making. And it's interesting that we've both sort of hit it. And I just wonder if it's because we both have such a vision for how we see our businesses and our roles within our businesses and our roles within our clients' businesses. So what are the sorts of things that you've found that have been difficult in the last couple of months?
I guess when very much around the VA industry is you work the hours that you want to work, and that doesn't always work when you're supporting a business. So to be able to work your own hours, and I'm sure in some VAs, like I guess if you're creating content for people, you can do that in your own time. But when you're supporting businesses like I do, when you're answering phones, then I am very much held to the hours that that business works from. And I currently answer phones for 1, 2, 3, 4, for 6 different businesses. So, and I need to be available to answer those phones from when the opening hours of those businesses. So I can't really say that I work on my own hours. I work the hours that those businesses need me to support them. So that's one of the things that I've come across.
Yeah, and what I think something that you found is that you say to someone, well, my phone's open at 7 and we don't close till 7. And that's 7 Australian Eastern Standard Time. And just finding those people who can actually fill in those hours and want to work those sorts of hours. And we're not asking them, I mean, when I say we, because I have a very similar thing. My thing is about supporting businesses, and we've got to fix the problems when the problems occur. To a degree, I've got a little bit more flexibility, but if a website's down, a website is down, I've got to go fix it. It's got to be up. If they're not getting sales through, I've got to get that fixed. So we need to have people who can pretty much be on the ball. And then there's going to be moments, if not hours, of there's nothing to do at the moment. We've just got to sort of wait until the next thing comes through, or I can go and do this other project that we've sort of put on the back burner and wait for the next sort of peak to come through. And we're not asking people to work, 7 to 7. We're looking for people who can fill those hours, and it might be we need 2 or 3 people. It's just trying to find them who can actually give you guaranteed hours, isn't it? Or the guaranteed work time. Yeah.
And I mean, yes, you do have to be home. Yes, well, actually, you don't have to be. As long as you've got your phone with you and you can answer it, do it, then you can usually deal with whatever needs to be dealt with. But it's just finding, and it's really hard to explain it to people, because until they're actually in it, then they don't quite understand the role. But the phones are really important, because that's incoming business. So, every time you miss a phone call, you possibly have missed a service, or you've like something else. So yeah, it just gets really tricky.
Sorry, I was just sort of thinking, because my mind always goes a million miles an hour when we start talking about these sorts of things. And one of the things that people get worried about is, I'll be stuck and I won't have anyone to back me up, or if I have a problem, I don't know what I'm going to do. That's not true. Yes, Gail works for me, but when she gets busy, she'll often contact me and say, hey, can you do a bit of overflow for me? Can I switch the phones through to you while I'm off doing this thing? And I go, yeah, I'll take your phones, no worries. Yes, I do answer phones. I can answer phones. I prefer not to. That's not what I do. But I can do it, and I will do it because it helps Gail out, and it helps
Mm.
Gail do her job better to help me, pretty
Mm.
much. So we work cohesively together. So that's one of the sort of things we found. What else? I mean, it's just been, like I said, it's been a really interesting start to 2024 for us. I've had a heap of podcast interviews, which have been fantastic. I've got I've got my daily inspirations going out 8 a.m. every morning, Monday through Sunday. You will get an inspiration from me come hell or high water at the moment. That's my goal. And I've been really good at meeting it. But when I was fitting out the van, that I decided I was going to go, and rather than rent a house in Australia at the moment, I decided I was going to fit myself out a van and go be a digital nomad, a true digital nomad, and live around Australia. So while I was spitting that out and working with my brother, who did all of the hard work for me, and I was there supervising, there was that couple of weeks there where I didn't get as much done as I needed to. So then when I got back into it, I had to catch up with everything. Some of the things that I'm finding is the level of knowledge that people have, and I don't know if it's the willingness or the ability to actually learn new things and try and find to do new things. What do you think?
I think people get a little bit complacent, might be the right word, and when you're trying to teach them, maybe I'm not teaching correctly either, but I just find it really tricky to impart knowledge and ways that different people can learn it, because there's just so much out there to learn. It's just so many things that we need to learn, and every day you come across something and think, oh, I need to know that.
And like I said, there's no judgment here. It's just an observation we've both made independently to each other over the last few weeks, where we finally started catching up, going, so what went wrong? And now I'm digging down into the what went wrong, what can go better, how could I have done that differently? And it's like, what did I do here that I could improve on? And like I've written down all my SOPs, I've got all my videos, I've got everything, and people still come back and say, well, how do I do this? I'm like, well, did you look at this video here, and did you look at the procedure that I put together? And I did screenshots and I wrote it out. What was it in that you didn't understand, or what happened that you had to come back to me and ask that? Because to me it looked pretty straightforward. Now, I will happily admit that I think differently, and I'm down in the weeds on this stuff, and I need the feedback from people to say, well, that wasn't clear, that we didn't get it. But that's not what I'm getting. And that's not what I got in 80% of the cases. That's not what I got. What I got was, we didn't bother looking. We just thought we'd ask you.
Yes, I agree that it's almost like it's easier to come to you and ask that question rather than think, where can I find the answer?
Yeah. And I've done a couple of podcasts, like I said, over the last few weeks. One of them, I think it was Stephen Morris's one, which was a great podcast. I loved doing it, loved the interview, liked all my interviews, but Stephen's sort of sticks in my mind a lot. And one of the things he said that he empowers his team is, don't come to me with a problem, come to me with a solution. If you see something that's a problem, come to me and say, hey, this is a problem. I think we could fix it this way, or we could do these things, or I'm not quite sure, but how about I go and look at these things to see if I can work out how to do it? Is that okay? Because if you're not coming to, his words were, if you don't come to me with a solution, you're actually part of the problem. You're part of my problem, because I've brought you on to help me fix these issues.
Yeah.
And I found that a little sort of stressful. That's the word I'm going to use. And my recommendation is, if you're out there and you're looking at being an entrepreneur, if you're looking at being an entrepreneur and doing this sort of stuff, become proactive. People don't want another employee. Like when people take on contractors, they know you've got to be careful. And I don't want to make absolutes here, but I don't like micromanaging people.
No.
I like to empower people. I like people to be proactive. I like people to come to me and say, hey, listen, I'm really not enjoying this piece of work, but I really love this piece of work you gave me. Do you have more of that? And I might say, no, I don't at the moment, but it's good to know. Let me see what I can rearrange or what I can do to give you more of that type of work. Take this stuff that you don't like off you and give it to someone else. It's not a reflection on people when I take work away from them that they're not doing the job. It's me recognizing their statements like, I'm not enjoying doing this. This isn't something I want to be doing. And yeah, there's always work to go around. There's always something that can be done. So they're two of the things that we've found in the last couple of months, really. And I think this year really underscored it for us. And I'm not quite sure why. I think for me, it was that I actually had to take time out of my business. I couldn't be there with my finger on the pulse all the time. So it started to highlight where the cracks were in my processes, in my procedures, in the way I'm managing my team as well. What else did we find? What else have you found? Because you've had some things that you've had to deal with as well, like even just in your personal life, you've had to deal with things.
So I had a week in hospital not so long ago, and I thought I'd found someone that would manage for a week without me, and unfortunately that person didn't manage. And I kind of feel a bit like I've built this beast that I can't control, but I'm now going to pull it apart and work out all the things that I actually do, because maybe it's not one person. Maybe I need to have 2 people or even 3 people, or maybe I need to find one person who just loves doing this, and even if it is only a few hours a week rather than one person. So that's kind of where I'm thinking at the moment. I want to pull it apart and then put it into little boxes and work out how best to solve it. And I guess maybe I need to be a bit more clever on how I talk to people. Maybe I need to find what people's, and I've not done a lot of interviewing either, so I'm not good at it, I guess. But maybe I need to work what people's strengths are, and then they're the things that I get those people to do, because I don't want people, I want my team to be happy. I want them to wake up in the morning and be excited to come to play. I don't want people coming to work. I want people to come and play in the business, because that's fun and we enjoy it. And that's what you have to work so many years. You've got to enjoy what you're doing. So maybe I need to think about how I'm coming across to people. And I do enjoy coming to work. You know, I start 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's, you know, I wake up and think, oh, I've got to go to work.
Yeah, so Gail does start that early, really. I get messages from her and I look at the time and I'm squinting because I'm just getting myself ready and getting my cup of coffee for the morning. And she's at work going, good morning, how are we? So she starts that early. I really appreciate it because it helps me get my day started just beautifully. But I have the same sort of thing in terms of, okay, so what is it that I'm doing? What can I get people to do? How do I break this down into more manageable chunks? But the fact that you said you've built this beast, I'm like, it's really rough, but it's kind of true too, isn't it? Like,
it is.
Yeah, break it down. Now, I'm also going to point out that when you and I started working together, which I think was 2 years ago, it must be, this month might actually be 2 years ago, or the last month might have been 2 years ago.
You just got back from Hawaii?
I got back in January and you got back the month after me. And
I got back in beginning of March.
And we connected not long after that. No. So it was April, May, we started working together. And when you came back and you started this business, you had a slightly different vision as to what you were going to be doing, because I think you were looking at doing your accounting and your bookkeeping and your BAS agent, and that probably is still on your books, but that's not where the business took you.
No,
It's
no,
not where the
not
business
at all.
took you. And I think it's fascinating to me that in that 2 years, not once have I heard you say, "Oh, I never got to do this." It's like, well, I'm doing this now and I love what I'm doing. You've grown the business to be something that you love doing, that you do really, really well. I also love to hear you say, maybe there's something that I'm doing that I can do differently and I can do better. Maybe I need to be supporting my people better. As I said, when we started this, there's no judgment on anyone here. It's just where we're at and trying to work out how we can move forward and do things. One of the things I'm finding a little difficult is I get people come to me and say, yes, we can do this work for you. And then they just disappear into the ether and you don't hear back from them. So you've got this project plan, and I do project plans and I lay it all out and I do the help desk jobs and I've got all the information ready. And then it just sits there and I'm like, hello, are you there? Is this job? Oh, okay. Now I need to find someone else to go and do it. Or worse, at this point, I just go do it myself. Which is fine, but I want to grow my business and I want to evolve what I'm doing within my business, and it's very difficult to do that when you keep getting caught back in the weeds. So it's just something that, as business owners, the challenges that we're seeing as people who provide services virtually. Well, services, doesn't matter how we're providing them, have the challenges that we're having around it. So what sort of advice do you think we could give to other business owners based on our experiences this year, but last year was pretty full on for both of us as well?
I think is that this year's one of the other things I've noticed this year is that it's getting harder out there in the business world for people, that everything's going up, our rent's going up, our food's going up, and we're all in the same boat, that it's just a little bit tougher than it has been for a long time. And I'm not 100% sure. Putting my prices up doesn't solve that, because it just puts more pressure on small business. And I just...
it doesn't help us when we get an extra $50 worth of expenses every fortnight in our expense line, because everything else has gone up around us. I noticed I got 2 emails last week. Adobe's going up and Xero's going up, and they're going up by a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in Xero, to be honest, and I'm wondering whether I'll be looking for something else.
Oh, really? Well, we might have a conversation about that.
I just feel that Xero's, I have to go back and reread it, but I didn't feel that I was getting anything more for what I was going to pay. And I am only a small business, and when you're paying significant money per month, that's just the accounting system. That's not a bookkeeper. That's just the accounting system.
Yeah, well, I got those 2 emails, like one after the other, and I just looked at it and it's like, I think that was an extra $35 a month.
God.
$40 oh no, because that was in US as well. So yeah, I think it's close to $40 a month.
I've obviously missed the Adobe one.
Well, that might just be me because of the subscription I had, but I'll send it to you so you can check it out and see if you've got it. Yeah, I just I wanted to cry, and I'm like, okay, so can I get rid of these tools? So now I'm at that point again. This is part of being a business owner. You're continually looking at what you're doing. I'm looking at my expense lines again, going, what of these expenses can I cut out? Do I not need to run my business? And I reckon I run pretty close to the line, pretty bare bones, but I'm still looking, trying to see what can go, because I don't want to start to have to put prices up to people.
No,
but there's only so much I can do within the constraints that I've got. So it is a bit this year. It's really hit really hard.
So it'd be interesting. I think we've got another interest, the RBA is meeting again. So I'm kind of hoping they hold off a bit, because We just don't want it to come, too much.
Oh, that's okay. We're all getting a tax cut according to the government.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what that means to me. I think it might be $10 a year.
I think it's there's some interesting stuff that I've seen come out from the ATO regarding working at home and what they're looking for and the amount that you can claim. And there was an article I read earlier this week from the ATO. They're kind of checking people who work from home to make sure what they're claiming and what they're not claiming. So, and I think that that's really interesting. If I had to go out to work, my business wouldn't exist. I wouldn't make enough to be able to rent a room somewhere and all the other things that went with it. So I think it's really interesting that they're trying to clamp down on it, on people who are actually trying to make businesses. Yep. I'm not sure I said that properly.
Yeah, that's okay. We will just sort of slide on over that one because that's not a conversation we want to have. Oh dear. Yeah, that's the type of year we've had.
We've had lots of conversations that we've slid over, Charly. It's like,
It might be time for another tiffy time soon.
Yes. You just wait till I'm off painkillers.
Yeah, okay, I'll wait till you're off painkillers. So I mean, and really the other thing that I'm finding is being able to find these support networks and networks where we can support each other. I feel that they're getting a little thin at the moment, like where there used to be places we could go and just be in a group and put in a... It's my brother. I have to ring him back. Oops, I forgot to put my phone on on mute.
That's come through to me.
Through to you.
What happens when you press?
I'm leaving this into the recording because this is great.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, this is the types of days we have too. So sorry. We used to have groups where you'd get onto even just Facebook groups where you've got business owners like ourselves, virtual assistants trying to do things. I'm finding they're becoming less and less and less as well. Like the interaction on those, either people are really just grinding or they've given up. They've either closed their businesses and gone back to work, or they've just closed their businesses and not gone back to work. And that's something
really interesting comment, Charly. And now that you've made that, we used to spend an awful lot more time supporting other people in Facebook groups like last year. And when I think of this year, I kind of think
Well, you actually came to me yesterday when I answered 2 questions in 2 different groups. And I thought, it's been weeks since I've done this. And I used to, every couple of days, it would be like, look, go and look at this, go and do this, have a look at these things. I've got a blog post here where I've put out the steps to it. If you need a hand, give me a call. I used to do it every couple of days, and that's just not happening at the moment. No. So whether I'm not in the right groups anymore, or whether, I just feel that people, they may actually just be shuffling, trying to keep themselves going. Now, all that said, I do have a group that you can come to and support each other and help each other. Come and join us over at Locals, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. It's my group for business owners, for people who are trying to run their own business remotely, normally because working remotely is lonely and frustrating and it can be difficult, and not having someone, as I just said, that you can reach out to and say, hey, listen, I'm having some issues. Can someone give me a hand? Not having that resource available is a real pain. So I've created one, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. Come on over. You can become a supporter for $2 US per month. That lets you interact with all of the content. It lets you add your own conversations. You will get access to supporter only content when it goes up. And apart from that, you know, those funds helps me keep doing these types of interviews, my inspirations and my tutorials as well. So come and join us. We'd love to see you over there. And back to us. There we go.
Come and join our gratitude.
Yes, well, we're doing a daily gratitudes, and that was something that I thought was very useful. I picked that up from one of my other groups that I have, Next Level Nation, Next Level University, Next Level Nation, and they were talking about the power of gratitude and how playing the gratitude game every day made a difference to their outlook on life. And I thought, well, I'm going to give it a go. And they're right. They're absolutely right. So once a day, I've challenged my team, and I've got Gail doing it, but I've challenged my team, and I've challenged anyone else who wants to come and join us. I have a post that said, come and play the gratitude game. You can put a comment on there to tell me or tell everyone what you're grateful for that day. You can do it every day if you want. You can do it once a week, however often you want to do it. I'm trying to do it every day. It's really important to me to make sure I give thanks for something in my life that is good and wonderful and I should be grateful for, because that keeps me remembering that there are good things in life, not just all the crap that we go through as business owners and mums and dads and brothers and sisters.
And I think it's acknowledging what's good in your life too. And I know I went in there this morning and I thought, what's good? And it's like, well, everything's good. Oh, I have enough. So today I have enough. So I'm so very grateful because today I have enough.
I loved that, actually, the fact that you said I have enough, because that was I'm actually reading, I'm part of a book club, and I'm reading The Psychology of Money, which is fascinating, by Morgan Hauser. I'll share the link with you so you can have a look at it. It's absolutely fascinating. It's not anything particularly scientific, although there are lots of scientific things around it. He does break it down to very understandable principles and how it applies in your everyday life, and how you can have a Warren Buffett, and the fact that Warren Buffett really has done nothing spectacular except invest regularly all his life and not live beyond his means, pretty much, is the whole gist of that story. I'm sorry, I've forgotten where I was going with one.
The Psychology of Money.
Enough. Yeah. And one of the things he says is, you've got to know what enough is. What's enough for me might not be enough for you, and that's okay. But knowing what is enough, and going to that and not going much further beyond it, so not living beyond your means, not getting greedy, and trying to make more out of what you've got, is probably a good strategy, or a good solid foundation for more building. So that was for money, but I can see how you can apply that to the rest of your life too. I've got friends. I've got enough in my friends. I've got enough food on my table. I've got enough clothes. Women.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I know. Or every all of my friends, I can see them now going, don't look at my wardrobe. But I've got enough clothes.
Shoes.
I've got enough shoes. And I just think that's such a good thing. So when you said that this morning, I'm like, it's such a good thing to be grateful for. You have enough. So that's great. And look at how it sort of fixed up. Yeah, like, I love that we do them at the morning too. I was sort of thinking of doing them in the evening, but doing them of a morning, it really fixes your North Star for the day. And it makes me think, okay, no, I've got something I'm grateful for. I'm buoyed. I'm ready to go. So it has been a interesting start to the year. look forward to see what the rest of the year it's going to do for us. We actually had a meeting on Monday and we both set some intentions, which really helped me. So thank you. The fact that you asked to talk and then we actually talked things out and we both then got stuff and it was great. No, I love it. But we set some intentions, and I think setting a weekly intention, like I've got daily intentions. I've got what do they call them? Inch pebbles. You stick a pebble down so that you end up with a big mound. So I've got my daily intentions, but I've also now got a weekly intention, and I think it's a good thing that we are going to be setting those more often.
That and habit stacking.
Habit stacking, yeah, inch pebbles, habit stacking. That's a really, really important one, and that's something we can actually do in another interview, another episode if you want. I'm happy to bring that one back because that I know you've seen it in your business, and I've seen it because we set some things up within my processes, which are now habit. Yeah, I don't think you even think about the things that you do anymore. Whereas when it started, it was like, oh, I've got to remember to do this and I've got to remember to do that. And there's a checklist of things. And now I come in every couple of days and go, oh, it's all been done. Cool. I don't have to worry about that. But it's now habit. And that we stacked those habits. One of the habits is that we check in. We do a, hey, good morning, I'm here. I'm off because I've got to do my walk. Oops, that was a mozzie. I'm off because I'm going to go and do my walk for the day, and then I've got meetings all morning, and I'll be back this afternoon. So if you need anything, stack them up. I'll deal with them when I get back.
Yep.
So Gail, what sort of things would you like people to take out of our conversation today?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned this year is to be flexible. It's just to be flexible. We can't change what's happening around us, but we can change how we deal with it, and we can change how we look at it too. And I think
so. We can't. Yeah, we can't control. We can't control our environment 100%, but we can control how we respond to our environment. So flexibility is a good one. I think that's a great one to
flexibility and gratitude.
There you go. I like that. I like that. Now, guys, I will have more interviews going up. Of course, there will be more guests coming along. If you want to come along and have a chat to me about your business, what you've experienced, you want to share some of your experiences with my audience, please get in touch. There is, you can email the email address on the podcast. You can come to my website and fill in the form to request to be a guest. I generally don't turn away people. Generally, I won't say I don't turn away. No, I won't say I don't turn away anyone, but I try not to. And if there's something that you want to hear us talk about, if there's something you want us to get into and go through based on our experiences, leave some comments below, come across to Locals and start a conversation there. Let's see where it goes. askcharlyleetham.locals.com. What else do I have to do? Oh, yes. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you find out when we drop more content. And be well and be successful in your business. Gail, thank you so much for coming on and having a chat to me. That was it's a very brave thing to be open and as vulnerable as you were in this. I do appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. It's so nice to spend time with you.
I love that. Thank you so much. Like I said, Mutual Admiration Society here. But thank you so much. And we will see people the next time you come on. How's that sound?
Sounds very good to me. Thank you.
All right, guys. Bye. We'll see you next time.